Hey, Rob here, and in this module, we're going to break down and explain how to write a successful sales letter. You see, creating your product is really just the first step. You then have to create a well-written, compelling sales page with a sales letter that convinces people to want to buy your product. Now, if they land on your website and you immediately try to pitch them whatever it is you're selling, they're going to tune out. The purpose of a well-constructed sales letter, as I'll be explaining, is to walk the viewer or the reader through a series of steps, okay? And each step has a purpose. For example, you want to build rapport with them. You want to make the viewer feel, or the reader feel, as if you relate to them. You've been in their shoes. Whatever problem it is they want to solve in their life, you want them to know that you have been there too, and you were probably suffering even worse than they were until you found this solution, which is your product. But you've got to build up to it and walk them through this series of steps. Another very big part of this is countering their objections. In the world of sales, this is always important. Whether you're walking onto a car lot to buy a car, whether somebody's trying to sell you something over the phone, good salesmen understand how to counter objections, because every viewer or every reader that lands on your website is going to have reasons in their mind why they shouldn't buy your product right now. So a well-written sales letter will make sure to counter each and every one of those objections as it goes along. So I'll explain this all in the video. Now bear in mind, elsewhere in this course, I talk about video sales letters. And these are simple sales letters in video format where the viewer reads the words on slides and listens to it at the same time. This is a rather recent development in the world of marketing. There are still many great marketers who rely on traditional long-form sales letters. In other words, they're not videos. You land on their webpage, their sales letter, and you scroll down to read the whole letter, and at the bottom, there's the button to buy the product. Whether you want to use a traditional long-form sales letter or a VSL is really up to you. I normally use VSLs. I feel they're more effective. But either way, what you will learn in this video are the steps that are involved in creating a sales letter that works, that converts, that takes curious people that land on your website and turns them into hungry buyers who want what you're selling, and they want it now. So let's delve into this module. Now, if you're not a writer and you don't have any writing background, don't worry. You don't need to be a brilliant writer to pull this off, because sales pages are really more of a science than an art. Many of the best sales letters follow a 12-step formula, which I'm going to explain to you right now. And these steps are arranged in a particular order for a reason. Now, a good sales letter is going to hook the reader's attention right off the bat, grab their attention, and get them to read further down the page. In fact, really every piece of text on the sales letter should compel them to want to read the next piece of text or the next paragraph, okay? So at any point in the process, if your reader becomes bored or becomes distracted or becomes confused, they're probably going to bounce off that sales page. So the goal here is to craft a sales letter that makes them want to keep reading. It's going to get them into the right emotional state to make them want to take action, and at the same time, it's going to remove their doubts and answer any questions or concerns they might have about whether this product is right for them. So overcoming buying resistance is one of the keys to a good sales letter. Every person who visits your website and sees your product is going to have some form of buying resistance. This is a reason they tell themselves why they shouldn't take action right now and buy it. So one of the primary goals of a good sales letter is to overcome that resistance while persuading them to take action. Some of the forms of buying resistance would be, well, you're not like me, you don't understand my problem. Or, how do I know you're qualified to solve my problem? Or, I don't need it right now. Or, it probably won't work for me. I can't afford it. What if I don't like it? So those are some of the forms of buying resistance, and a good sales letter will actually overcome each one of those. Now, there is a 12-step template that you can use that is designed to neutralize all these different forms of buying resistance while encouraging the customer to make the right decision, which is to buy your product today. Not to think about it any longer, but to get it right now. Now, also keep in mind that people generally don't make purchases based on logic. Their decision to buy is driven by emotion. So this is why the other main objective of the sales letter is to build your reader up into an emotional state that motivates them to take action. And humans have two primary motivators that control our actions. the promise of gaining something, and the fear of losing something. So to put it another way, we're hardwired to want to move towards pleasure and away from pain. So you want to plant two ideas in your reader's mind. The idea that they're going to experience tremendous pleasure and benefits from getting this product today, and the idea that they will continue to experience pain and frustration or humiliation. They'll continue to experience the same painful problems they're having if they don't take action. And also there's the pain of missing out on an opportunity, because your sales letter will also present this offer as a limited time offer. If they don't take action, they will miss out. That's a form of pain also. So you want to paint a picture in your reader's mind about the great pleasure he'll feel or she'll feel as a result of buying your product, the positive emotions they'll feel after pumping up their physique or losing that stubborn belly fat or improving their golf swing, or maybe your sales letter is selling a dating product for guys. So you paint a picture in their mind of how much more exciting and fulfilling their life is going to be when they know what to say to women, how to approach women at a bar and get a phone number, get a date. Or maybe it's learning this secret investment strategy that will give them financial freedom. You get the idea. You want to paint this picture in their mind of all of the positive emotions they'll be experiencing once they get their hands on this amazing product. Now, at the same time, the sales letter should also hit the pain buttons, all right? It should remind the reader of the painful consequences of not taking action. So your sales letter should hit both those kinds of buttons, pleasure and pain. But just remember this, the fear of loss is a more powerful motivator than the promise of gain. So I read a blog post from a successful internet marketer in which he tested this theory. He was selling an online course which gives advice for married couples who want to enjoy a closer and more passionate relationship. So he tested two different titles for his course. Title number one was How to Improve Your Marriage. And title number two was How to Stop Your Divorce or Your Lover's Rejection. Now, headline number two, which pushed the pain buttons, it outsold the first one by a ratio of 5-1. Because instead of offering the promise of gaining something, how to improve your marriage, it pushed the pain buttons, how to stop your divorce, how to stop your lover from rejecting you. Now, your reader won't buy your product because he feels like he understands what you're saying. You can explain in 50 different ways how incredible your product is and list all the features, and that's all well and good. But it's not going to create an emotional reason for the reader to buy. Your reader will buy because he feels you understand him. You've been in his shoes. You've experienced the same pain or embarrassment or frustration that he feels right now. And now you have the solution. And the solution is your product. And it's not just any solution, it's the solution. So that's the essence of a good sales letter. Now let's run down the 12 steps. The 12 steps are, first of all, you grab their attention. The opening headline of your sales letter is the first thing your reader will see. And if it doesn't immediately grab their attention and grab them by the neck, you've probably lost them. So powerful headlines are crucial. You might think that a good headline is one that announces how amazing and beneficial your product is, but actually, many of the most effective sales page headlines are designed to trigger emotions of fear and loss. A classic example would be, warning, don't even think of blank until you blank. So it could say, warning, don't even think about going back to the gym until you learn this one weird secret the fitness industry doesn't want you to know. This is an attention-grabbing headline because the word warning immediately instills a sense of fear into the reader. Now also note that in that headline, I also used a technique called the common enemy. And that's where you create a common enemy that you've had to struggle against in your own experiences and that they're struggling against right now. And the idea is, you are going to help them defeat this common enemy. So the industry is always a great common enemy. The fitness industry doesn't want you to know these secrets, or the diet industry. Or if you're selling some kind of natural cure or remedy for an ailment, maybe it's the pharmaceutical industry, because the pharmaceutical industry, makes their money off of making sure that you stay sick. But here's the secret to defeat this common enemy. It's the secret the pharmaceutical industry does not want you to know. Now, in that headline, I also used a grabber word, which was warning. And other examples of grabber words would include exposed and revealed. For example, revealed, the one weird little secret to stopping your hair loss that the pharmaceutical industry does not want you to know. So try to work a grabber word in there too. And beneath your headline, you put your subheadline. This is in a smaller font, and this is where I like to state
one of the amazing benefits of this product, and remind them of how easy it is to learn, how easy it is to use, and how it's going to be pain and hassle-free. So, for example, if I was selling a weight loss product, my subheadline might say something like, "This easy-to-learn method shows you how to burn fat while you sleep without you having to sacrifice your favorite foods or drag yourself to the gym." So I like to oftentimes use the word "without" in my subheadlines. I state a big benefit, and then I say they're going to learn this amazing method or this amazing system without them having to do any of the things they don't want to do to achieve that goal. One of the keys to a good sales page is to always make this method or this system sound as easy and as painless as possible. Another very powerful phrase to incorporate in your subheadline or maybe even in your headline is the phrase "even if." So on one of my sales pages for my dating products, I might have a subheadline that says, "This revolutionary step-by-step system reveals how to meet women without any fear of rejection, even if you're broke, overweight, or crippled by shyness." So in that example, I combined "without" and "even if." Now, the next step after your headline is you want to identify the problem. Now, in this step of the sales letter, you're going to describe the painful or uncomfortable or embarrassing situation that your product will solve. You don't want to mention your product just yet. You want to talk about the problem that your product will address. You want the reader to say to himself at this stage, "Wow, this guy understands exactly what I'm going through." You know, people are creatures of habit, and often they will not take action and make a change unless they're experiencing a lot of pain or discomfort. So you describe their pain, what they're going through, and then you agitate it. You rub some salt in the wound. You can tell a short story to vividly illustrate how painful, frustrating, or embarrassing this problem is. So here's an example from a sales page of mine that sells an ebook for guys who want to turn a female friend of theirs into their girlfriend, which is a very common problem among guys. So in my sales letter, I said, "You know there's nothing worse than being best friends with a girl, and you secretly want to turn her into your girlfriend more than anything in the world because you know you'd be the right guy for her. You treat her the way she deserves to be treated, not like those jerks she's dated in the past. But you're afraid to tell her how you truly feel because you couldn't bear the thought of being rejected and humiliated." Now, that's an example of some pretty powerful emotional language, but whatever your product is, you can find ways to describe the embarrassment or the frustration that it's going to solve. It could be the embarrassment of, going out with your buddies to play golf and always coming in last place, never making the shots as your buddies look on and chuckle, as you struggle to make shots. It could be the embarrassment of going to the beach and not wanting to remove your shirt because of that stubborn belly fat that you just can't seem to lose. So really, no matter what your niche is, you can find ways to push these pain buttons. Now, the next step in the sales letter is you want to provide the solution. And this is where you stake your claim, okay? You tell the reader that you can solve this problem. And this is where you introduce yourself by name and you mention your product or your service. Now, at this stage, the reader should feel a sense of relief because they're starting to believe that you have the solution to this problem that's been weighing on their mind. And next, you want to present your credentials. Now, most readers come into this whole sales pitch with a healthy degree of skepticism. They're thinking, well, this all sounds pretty good, but who is this guy and why is he qualified to solve my problem? So now you tell them why they should trust you. Give your credentials. Mention some of the people or the companies you've worked with, how long you've been in this field, etc. You can mention awards or degrees or recognitions you've received or media appearances you've done. Now, I realize that right now you may not have some impressive pedigree or resume, but you can say something like, I spent hundreds of hours researching this problem from every angle. I spoke to over a dozen experts, and I came up with a solution. So that's a pedigree in itself, the fact that you've spent all this time and energy and effort to create this solution, which you now have available to them. And I want to add here that if you yourself are not an expert on this topic, all you need to do is interview an expert on this topic. Do a Skype call with them, or call them and just, record the interview, include it as a bonus. And now, while you yourself are not the expert, you have experts on board this product that give it extra credibility. For example, I have a product that is about how to stop your spouse from cheating on you and how to catch them if they are cheating. Now, I have no experience personally in this area. I'm a single guy, but I went out and I lined up some Skype phone call interviews with several private investigators and marriage counselors. So on my sales page, I didn't list any of my own credentials, but I totally hyped up the credentials of these experts that I had interviewed as part of my course. Now, at this stage of the sales letter, another very common technique you may want to use is to tell your personal story, is to talk about how you yourself used to suffer from this same problem and how you hit rock bottom, you decided to do something about it, and so you went out there, you did the research, you talked to the experts, and you came up with this solution, and this solution changed your life. So if at all possible, I do recommend that you include a personal story. In my case, with my dating products for men, in this portion of the sales letter, I tell a story about how I used to be in love with a girl, and then she brutally dumped me, and I was thrust back onto the singles scene, and I was a fish out of water. I had no idea how to approach women or start conversations. I was a failure at internet dating, and then one day I met the guy who taught me all the secrets. So if you're going to include your story, the road that you traveled to get to this point, then you should use emotional language, and you should really craft this story so that your readers can relate to it. You're basically saying to them, I've been where you are right now. I've been in your shoes. I thought it was an impossible situation, but I figured out the solution or the cure. Next, step 5 is you want to show the benefits. And this is where you tell the reader how they are going to personally benefit from your product or service. You can list these in bullet points or put little check images next to each benefit. And keep in mind here, you want to emphasize the benefits, not the features. So when you write these, you put yourself in your reader's shoes. And rather than describing what the program contains, you want to help your reader to visualize how purchasing your product is going to give them immediate benefits. So an example of describing a feature, which you don't want to do, would be this. This 97-page ebook shows you how to build muscle by using a 7-step system that emphasizes resistance training. All right. Now that's an example of describing a feature. All right. It's 97 pages long, and this is what it's going to teach you. All right. That's boring. It's not emotional language. You could turn that around and describe it as in terms of benefits by saying something like this. Once you apply the lessons in this easy-to-learn 7-step system, you'll feel younger, stronger, more motivated, and more confident. Your friends and loved ones will be amazed at your transformation. Now, see, with that type of description, you're talking about benefits, and those are tangible results that the reader can actually visualize in their mind. This product is going to do this for their lives, change their lives in this way. All right? Now, step number 6 is you want to give social proof. One of the most effective ways to build your credibility and remove any doubts your reader still has about whether you're the real deal is to provide some testimonials from satisfied customers. Testimonials are an extremely powerful selling tool, and the more you have, the better. To make them even more effective, include pictures of your customers, if possible, if they're willing to give them to you, along with their testimonials, and include a mention of where they're from. Like Jim from Salt Lake City, Utah, had this to say. The more testimonials you can gather, the better. And over time, as you sell more products and you have more satisfied customers writing to you to thank you, you can use those as testimonials. You write back to those customers and you say, hey, I'm so glad you love my product. I would love to get a testimonial from you if you wouldn't mind. And you can offer to send them an additional product for free if you have one in exchange for their testimonial. Another way to gather testimonials is to go to forums that are related to your niche and start posting in the forums and then mention that you've got a new product and you're giving away free review copies to the next 10 people who respond to you. So that way, you'll have people contacting you and asking for your course or your book for free, and then you ask them to provide a testimonial for you. Now, a written testimonial is great. It can just be a short email they send you. But best of all are video testimonials, where, if possible, get them to actually record themselves on camera. It can be a webcam, it can be the camera on their phone, and have them actually speak to the camera. By putting video testimonials on your page, that is probably the most powerful form of social proof. And here's a little bonus trick that I always use on my sales pages. I always put 1 or 2 testimonials down at the very bottom of the page. So the reason why is because a lot of people come to your sales page, and if they see a lot of long blocks of text, a lot of people are going to just scroll down to the very bottom to see how much it costs, right? Sort of a natural reaction for a lot of people. So what I do is I put a testimonial or 2 at the very bottom. So they scroll down to the bottom, and the first thing they see are 2 of my best testimonials. Then they scroll up, and they're going to see the price and the buy now button, and they may end up reading the whole sales letter in reverse. But by showing them testimonials right off the bat, that gives a very compelling reason for them to want to investigate this page further. Now, step number 7 is to make your offer. This is the most critical part of your sales letter besides the headline. It's not enough to make your offer appealing, okay? You've got to make your offer seem totally irresistible. The goal is to make your reader think, I'd be crazy not to grab this deal. This is why you should include a number of bonuses to give your product as much perceived value as possible. And when you write about the main product and the bonuses you're selling, always think in terms of benefits rather than features. So, for example, on one of my sales pages that sells dating products for men, I've got about 4 or 5 bonuses that come with the main ebook. And so if I was going to describe the bonus in terms of features, which you don't want to do, I might say something like this. So for your second free bonus, you'll get an ebook about internet dating that teaches you how to meet women online. It's 73 pages long and it's filled with helpful tips. All right? That's boring. Instead, I'm going to describe this bonus in terms of the benefits. I'll say, bonus number 2, our guide to internet dating will reveal to you a closely guarded system that you can use to meet an unlimited number of amazingly sexy, high-quality women without you having to leave the comfort of your own home. Heck, you don't even need to get dressed and leave the house to use this internet dating system. And the best part is, you won't risk any rejection whatsoever. Now, step number 8 is to make a guarantee. In order to make your offer absolutely irresistible, you've got to remove the risk. Because remember, one of the big forms of buying resistance is them thinking, well, what if this product isn't for me? What if I buy it and I don't like it? And it's also important to remember, you are selling a digital product on the internet. So some people are wary about this, and they think maybe it's a scam. You're going to get their credit card information and charge them a bunch of money. So you really want to eliminate this form of buying resistance. You should always give the strongest possible guarantee that you can. So on my products, I will always say that I offer a 100%, no questions asked, no fine print, money-back guarantee. And I mean it. It's true. I actually am offering a no questions asked money-back guarantee. If a customer doesn't like the product for any reason, if they aren't blown away by the results they get a full refund, no questions asked. On one of my sales pages, I said this. If you're not completely thrilled with the results you get from using this program, simply send us an email at any time over the next 60 days and tell us you'd like a refund. We'll gladly return your money to you in full. No questions asked, no hard feelings. We part as friends, and we sincerely thank you for giving this program a try. Now, in this course, we're going to be talking a lot about ClickBank, because once your product is ready to go, we are really highly recommending that you sell it through ClickBank for a number of reasons, which I'll get into in a different module. But ClickBank makes it mandatory for you to offer a 60-day money-back guarantee. That is a ClickBank policy. So you may be thinking, well, isn't that going to kill my sales? If I make it totally obvious to my readers that they can simply request a refund and get their money back, well, isn't everybody just going to want a refund? Well, actually, you can use this policy to your advantage. The more you emphasize the fact that this offer really is totally risk-free, and they're covered by a bulletproof, ironclad money-back guarantee, the more you emphasize that, the more you will put them at ease. So instead of viewing this 60-day money-back guarantee as a negative, you should play it up, okay? And as far as your readers being wary about buying a product over the internet on your website, I'll also mention the fact that your order is completely protected and guaranteed through ClickBank, because ClickBank is one of the largest online payment processors, and they process over 10,000 secure digital orders per day, or something to that effect. So I always emphasize the fact that this is a risk-free offer with a money-back guarantee, and it's processed through ClickBank. And their personal information is totally secure and confidential. A friend of mine is a really successful internet marketer, and he was testing this whole theory, about how money-back guarantees affect the decision to buy. And he actually changed his 60-day refund policy to a 365-day policy. And it increased his conversions and lowered his refund rate. Now, you can't do that on ClickBank. ClickBank just has a set mandatory 60-day refund policy. But in his case, he was using a different payment processor. So he offered a 1-year money-back guarantee. And this actually increased his conversions, and it lowered his refund rate. And then he tried changing it to a lifetime policy. He literally told his readers that as long as they live, they can receive a full refund simply by requesting it at any time. And again, this boosted his conversion rate even higher and lowered his refund rate. Now, why did offering a lifetime refund policy reduce his refunds? Well, because people were in no hurry to ask for refunds. His customers, if they were considering asking for a refund, a lot of them probably figure, well, I've got my whole life to get the money back, so why bother right now? Maybe I'll take care of it next week or next month. And they just forget about it. Now, you may be worried that your customers are going to ask for refunds left and right just because they can. And to this, I can tell you that most people are honest, okay? And it's dishonest to buy a product and then actually enjoy it and get benefits from it and then ask for a refund anyway just because you can. So most people won't do this. Now, of course, yes, there are people who abuse this policy. I've had customers who downloaded like 4 or 5 of my products and then immediately demanded a refund for no reason, Obviously, they knew about ClickBank's policy and they knew they can get away with it. But these kinds of customers are few and far between. And as long as you have a good sales page and a good product to back it up, your sales are going to far outnumber your refunds and you'll be making money. So don't worry about it. Emphasize the money-back guarantee because this is a huge way to eliminate buyers' objections. So the stronger your guarantee is, the less of a risk it sounds like to the reader. And the more relaxed your refund policy is, the more likely your customers are to forget about asking for a refund altogether. If it turns out they're not thrilled with the product or never get around to using it, they'll say to themselves, well, I've still got, another 59 days to ask for my refund, so I won't worry about it right now. And they will often allow the window of time to lapse. But hopefully in your case, your customers won't even be considering the refund because they really will enjoy the benefits that your product gives them. So now, let's move on to step number 9 on your sales page, and that is to inject scarcity. Scarcity is the idea that this is a limited time offer and it will not last. Now, most people are more likely to procrastinate than take action. So at this point in the sales letter, even if you've removed their doubts and convinced them that your product is the solution to their problem, they might just be too lazy to go fetch their credit card or they don't want to deal with it right now, and they tell themselves they'll come back to your website later, which they almost never will. They also might not feel enough urgency to take action right now. They feel the pain, they know they have a problem, and they want the solution. But the pain they're feeling at this moment isn't strong enough to motivate them to buy your product right now. So this is why we have the scarcity step in the sales letter. And this means you tell them that if they don't act now, they might never get this opportunity again. The price might suddenly go up without notice. The product might sell out and this offer will be pulled offline. Or you could say the bonuses are only available for the first 100 buyers and it's first come, first serve. After 100 sales, the bonuses will no longer be part of the package. They'll be sold separately at a much higher price. Now, a word of warning here. Don't go overboard with false scarcity, which means giving a bunch of warnings that are totally untrue. If you say in your sales letter that this offer will only be available for 24 hours or this offer expires at midnight tonight and you have a countdown timer on the side of the page, it's going to look pretty silly when some of your readers revisit your site a week later and you have the same sales page with the same warning and the same countdown. So what you really want to do is make the scarcity real. In this way, you'll condition your customers, especially the ones who are subscribers to your email list, you'll make them want to jump on your offers when they become available because they know you mean it when you say it won't last long. So a lot of marketers will release a product and they'll put an actual firm deadline on there. This offer will expire, in 48 hours from now or 1 week from now, and it's for real. So if those readers visit the site a week later, they're going to see a page that says, this offer is now closed to new customers. Enter your email address and we'll notify you when it becomes available again. So now the marketer is building an email list of people who are obviously very interested in getting their hands on this product. And when he decides to re-release it, he will send out an email blast to all those people on the list. And now they're going to go and buy that thing because they know this guy's for real. They know that these offers actually are limited time and the scarcity is for real. Now comes the next step, and this is a big one. This is the close and the call to action. This is where you're going to close the deal and you're going to motivate them to take action, click the buy button, and take care of this right now. Now, one of the most effective closes that you can use is called the crossroads close. And so basically with this type of close, you're offering them 3 options. You say, look, right now you have a decision to make and you really only have 3 options. And so the first option is going to be do nothing. All right, just leave this page, miss this opportunity, and keep experiencing the same painful problem you've been struggling with. Option number 2 is going to be the crappy alternative option, which means go out there and wing it. Go ahead and try to fix the problem on your own. You're probably going to fail. You probably will get nowhere, but don't say I didn't warn you. That's option number 2. And then option number 3 is the only logical option, which is to go ahead and take this risk-free offer and buy the product. So I have a very popular dating product for men. It's called Mac Tactics. And at the bottom of my sales page, I say, you know you deserve to be dating higher quality women. And right now you've really only got 3 options. Option number 1, do nothing. If you want, you can click off this site right now and spend the next days, weeks, or years sweating and swearing up a storm because you're sick and tired of women who play games with you and act hard to get. Option number 2, surf the internet to find a bunch of lame, outdated information on how to pick up women. Go ahead and try to memorize a bunch of corny routines that you can use on girls, but don't blame me if they've heard it all before and they blow you off. And then option number 3, do what thousands of other guys have done. Risk nothing and get instant access to the ultimate black box of tactics and techniques that show you how to take charge of your dating life. So that whether you're talking to a girl for the first time or you want to take your friendship with a girl to the next level, you will be completely smooth, confident, and successful every step of the way. And then I go on to say, I personally guarantee that you'll be blown away by the material in this system and by the amazing reactions you'll get when you use it the next time you hang out with girls. So much so that I'll personally guarantee your success. And then again, I reemphasize my 60-day money-back guarantee. So that's an example of the crossroads close, and it's a very effective way to end your sales letter and then present them with the Buy Now button. And right above the Buy Now button, I'll give them some extra peace of mind. I will actually tell them exactly what to do and exactly what to expect next. I will say, all you have to do is click the big orange Add to Cart button below or Buy Now button below, and you will be taken to a secure checkout page where you will gain instant access to your products. And you're not done just yet, because below your signature, and I always have a JPEG scan of my signature. Below that, I'll have a PS and also a PPS and maybe even a PPPS, because all the way to the bottom of the sales page, I want to keep pushing emotional buttons and removing their resistance. So on the Mac Tactics sales page, underneath my signature, I say, P.S., why waste another weekend thinking if only I could find the right girl? Or why are all the beautiful women so stuck up when I try to talk to them? But actually, they're just tired of meeting so many predictable guys who have no idea how to flip a girl's attraction switches. And then P.P.S., consider this. If my system saves you from blowing wads of cash at the bars and nightclubs, hanging out with girls who are not going to sleep with you, it will easily be worth 10 times the cost. If it saves you from getting into a relationship with the wrong woman out of desperation, it'll be worth hundreds of times the investment. And if you use this system to meet the woman of your dreams, that one special woman who inspires and moves you, who makes every part of your life brighter, its worth will be infinite. You can't put a price on that. She's out there waiting for you. Don't keep her waiting forever. So you see, my PS and my PPS are loaded with more emotional language, painting a picture in the reader's mind of the incredible benefits they stand to gain and also the pain of continuing down the same path they're on right now without my product. And then the last thing on my page, as I mentioned earlier, is a couple of my best testimonials and then one more Buy Now button at the very, very bottom. Now, remember what I said earlier about how a lot of your readers will actually scroll down the page quickly and go to the bottom to see the price? Well, that's why this PS and the PPS are very important. It's actually one of the most important elements of your sales letter. So in that PS, you want to use emotional language that once again targets their fear of loss, of missing out on an incredible opportunity, and you can also restate some of the key points of your offer. This is your last final chance to convince them to buy. So this is when you want to break out the heavy artillery and hit them with everything you've got. So those are the elements of many of the most successful sales letters.